Now, if you've spent any time at all on the internet in circles where, or places where anime is discussed with even a slight amount of frequency, you have probably encountered a modern anime is trash person, someone who comes in, is just irrelevant regardless of what you're saying. You could be talking about how much you hate anime for a completely different reason, and this person will come in and say you're all stupid because anime peaked in 1992 and has been trash ever since then. Anything made after that, garbage. I only watch Fist of the North Star. I watch it twice a week. And we've all encountered, I feel like at least, we've all encountered a person like that. I've had people like that, not maybe that obnoxious, but I've had people like that who hold those beliefs in my comments before. And it is really not that uncommon of a thing for people to talk about is that, oh, anime is since the 90s, dude, anime has gone downhill. Or like since 2003, anime has just gone downhill. Since Death Note, everything's been bad, right? I'm 100% confident now that we've all heard something like that. And let me be clear about one thing first. That is not true. Uh, which may seem confusing, I suppose, given the title of the video and the content, what we're talking about. If you're not, I shall explain all of that in time. But it's not true that anime peaked back in the 90s or like a really long time ago. I think that personally, anime has peaked and has been going downhill given current information, but I think that happened in like 2016, which I know if you're around my age roughly, you're thinking 2016, that like just happened, dude. Anime's been good. Well, it didn't just happen. 2016 was quite a while ago. So I'm not psychotic enough to sit here and say, I'm not that psychotic about modern anime as trash, right? I find myself somewhere in the middle, leaning more towards one side than the other. I definitely do not think that like Fist of the North Star was the peak of anime, and the anime ever since the turn of the century has been shit. I do not think that's true. I think anime was good and getting better long after that. But I am also not of the belief that anime is still as good as it has always been. Like I said, I think that the peak occurred personally in 2016, and or roughly, give or take. And I can't articulate exactly why. I mean, I just know because I've been watching anime for a long time. I guess I don't really watch anime that much anymore, but for a time I was very into anime for a period of many years. I watched it a lot. And it's just something that kind of happened. And it was so gradual over so many years that I didn't just wake up one day and realize, like, what the hell? Anime sucks balls now. It took a while, even after thinking of, or even after working on this video, it still took me a while to think and be like, what has happened? Now, some people, certain parties, might argue that even if 2016 was indeed the peak of anime and that it's all been going downhill since then, which is what I believe, that's just a slump, right? It's just a period of, it's just a bad era. Well, here's the thing 2016 might feel like it was yesterday, but it wasn't yesterday. It's 7 years. That's many years. Many anime have come out since then. Probably a few dozen, upwards of maybe even 100 anime come out every year. Lots of them get made, tons of them, way more than you watch, I guarantee you. So over the course of 6.5, 7 years, a lot of shit has come out, and it's been, for the most part, trash. So why is that? Why the real difficult question here is, why is modern anime trash? What has happened? What has taken place? Well, to be honest with you, I don't really know. And I'm not saying that I'm trying to collect my thoughts, I suppose. But okay, I don't know. I don't know the exact reason. And I don't think that anybody knows. I do have two theories, but I want to just say, even in the time period where I was watching anime all the time and it was my primary source of media and entertainment, I was never super into the behind the scenes, the production, the companies, anything like that. I didn't really care. And for good reason. Japan has always been really bad about translating and sharing news on a worldwide scale because they don't really seem to care about what anyone else thinks or is doing. Um, so I cannot tell you for sure because my behind the scenes knowledge is a little bit lacking. So maybe something happened right around 2016. Maybe some horrible incident took place, and ever since then, anime's been bad. But I do have two theories regarding why anime has been worse and has been pretty lackluster in the last few years. So I figure I'll present my two theories to you, and they're not exclusive. They could both be happening at the same time. Um, but I figure I'll present them to you, and you guys can tell me what you think. So, theory one, and this is obviously something I've talked about a million times in many different videos, but there has been much more CGI and just corner cutting in general in anime as of late. And that is something that we know why that's happening. That is 100% because anime has exploded in popularity in the last few years. Um, and as it has become more popular, it's become more commercially viable. As it becomes more commercially viable, basically, what happens in anything, any industry, any business, once you start making a lot of money, you start to think, how can we make even more money? And well, how can you make more money? You produce anime quicker and cheaper. And how do you do that? Well, you cut corners and you use CGI to make things faster, and you do other things like cutting out story and reducing episode counts to make it cheaper because you have to do less work. And that is something that has permeated a huge amount of modern anime to the point where even the biggest anime of this entire year, and honestly the last couple years, which is ironically not a modern anime, but Bleach. Bleach coming back is like the biggest thing to happen to anime in a really long time. It's massive, huge deal. Even that is not spared from some corner cutting and CGI. That's the biggest anime to have come out or to have existed in a very long time. So I think that that contributes to it. I just think that overall there has been a drop in quality. I don't think it's even something that's really debatable because when I remember first encountering CGI in anime and I was really, really fucking confused because back in my day, that shit just wasn't really like you didn't have just awkward random CGI like shoved into a scene uh in like the foreground. Things in the background, I'm sure, things that you weren't really supposed to notice probably have always used cheaper techniques and less detail and stuff. But now we have anime putting like huge fights, big characters, main characters doing main character shit in CGI. So that's theory one. Theory two is that Japan seems to undervalue evolution. And I think that there is no better series to perfectly exemplify Japan's lack of innovation than One Punch Man. Because, and I've talked about this before, why Japanese comedy has never worked for me, especially in anime, because oftentimes it's the same joke over and over and over and over and over again. One Punch Man is such a great example because it's just, oh, Saitama's the strongest guy to have ever existed. Well, wouldn't you look at here? Here's another character saying, you dumb bald bitch. You don't know anything. You're weak. And then he owns them. Rinse, repeat 100 times. And it doesn't seem like Japan, for the most part, really cares about producing the envelope, pushing the envelope. They don't care about changing. They seem to be totally content with finding something they like and just being like, yeah, keep making that, dude. We liked it, so we'll watch more of it. And um, obviously, there has been a downhill trend in manga. There are still good manga worth reading, but the problem is most of them that are still really good are ones that have been going on for a long time. So they were started before the slump. In terms of new manga that are coming out in the last couple of years, like what is there? I can't even think of one that I'm like, damn, that thing was good that came out in like 2020. And I'm not saying, I feel like I should say this before I do anything else. I'm not saying that no good anime have come out, right? I've said this like I don't know, someone could probably do an 8-minute supercut of just me saying this, but there are exceptions to every single rule. Modern anime as a whole being worse does not mean that there haven't still been outliers that were really good or at least decent. But overall, the quality of anime today is significantly lower. And I ultimately don't know exactly why that is. Before we end the video, I want to bring up a random side note that I had never thought about until I started thinking about, like, oh, how has anime changed in the last few years? And um, I don't want you guys to take this the wrong way and think ill of me, but where the fuck did nudity go in anime? And I'm not saying that I want this back, but I feel like I remember so often watching anime and just randomly like, oh, her whole titty is out. Like, damn, full titty right in front of my face. Like, that shit just happened. And I don't remember the last time I saw nudity in like an otherwise normal anime. Obviously, there was like redo of a healer that weird normies were freaking out about, but that's like basically just softcore hentai. That's anime that's made solely for the set. And I don't even, honestly, I don't even remember if a redo of a healer had nudity in it. But then there was the something reviewers where they were going around and fucking like aliens in a brothel, something like that. But that was a long time ago. I Again, I'm not saying that I miss this or that I want it back, but I had never realized this ever. But I think I had become so desensitized to nudity in anime that I didn't even notice when it left. But when I sat down and like started thinking about anime from back in the day, I was just thinking about shit like High School DxD, which is just like otherwise a completely normal shonen. They're like, hey, put a titty in it, but like that wasn't even that uncommon. I've seen far too many anime topless women. I mean, not that I really am an enjoyer of such things. If you are, that's fine. But I just like, where the fuck did nudity go, dog? Did Japan change laws and animated girls aren't allowed to get naked anymore? There you have it, though. There's the video. This is one that I very much would like to encourage discussion for. So if you're not the type of person who normally comments, go ahead and comment on this one. I'm curious. What do you think about my theories for a potential reason why modern anime has gone downhill? But also, do you have knowledge that I do not? Do you possess knowledge of the arcane? Like, if so, pass it on. Let me know what you guys think and why modern anime is trash. That's it for this video, though, and I'll see you guys with another video very relatively probably soon.